Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Have another Transformers The Last Night review for you today. This is Voyager class Autobot Hound. Pretty cool little picture of him here on the front. On the side just says Autobot Hound, munitions expert. Not really anything going on this side. Not really anything on the top or the bottom. Taking a look at the back, just kind of shows off Megatron, which I've already reviewed. And then you can see, I think it's kind of funny though, he has these two guns. One on the front, he's got the ridiculously giant Gatling guns. So I don't know why they decided not to give him any kind of gun that looks like that, but there you go. So let's go ahead, we'll get him out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. So here we have Hound out of the packaging. You can see here he comes with a ton of accessories as far as these guns go. These two are pretty much the same. They're obviously just kind of mirror imaged. And I kind of like the design of these. They have this kind of lip on the top that kind of gives them a little bit of character, which I like. Now on their own, he would hold them down here, so then that lip would kind of be on the side, which looks a little weird, but I would think as long as you put them in the right hand, it probably looks cool. And they fit very snugly into his two hands. No problems there. Pretty cool. So I'm going to take those out. And then we have these two smaller guns, which are triangular in shape here in the barrel. Now you can see they have a peg hole here. They have these two pegs on the side, so you can, peg these together if you want to come up with some kind of crazy combinations. You could even peg in one of the larger guns if you wanted to. And it's really just up to you, however you want to put them together. And these also fit in his hands pretty easily, which I appreciate. So that's pretty cool. And then this piece is literally just to kind of combine everything together. So what the directions have you do, and I'll show this off quick. Take the larger gun and peg one of the smaller guns in here on the inside. Do the same with the other gun. Just like that. And then take this piece and peg it in. And then you have this kind of giant super gun. And then like these can rotate up like that. And they have you come around to the back. And you can see there's tons of peg holes here. So if you wanted to peg in all four of the guns separately on here, you could. But they kind of have you just peg the whole thing on here like a giant backpack. And that honestly doesn't look bad. It kind of fits kind of perfectly with these kind of panels he's got on his back. And just kind of looks like a giant jetpack. So I kind of like that. So I'm going to just leave that on there for now. But again, you have all those peg holes. You could peg them in separately if you like. So you can see he's kind of bulky. Has a little bit of car kibble here on the back of the legs, but I don't think that's a big deal. The way his feet are, with this tire that kind of folds out, it's a little weird for him, especially being back heavy. He wants to fall back. I guess technically you could rotate these around the other way. That might actually work a little bit better. Obviously that would be backwards, but that would give him heels, and he'd kind of... I mean, he'd look weird from the front, but he'd kind of stand a little bit better. So you can also play with this because of how the transformation works. So you can play with the toe angle a little bit to give you a little bit more stability. But you just kind of have to find the right balance. But he can balance. If you put the hands out a little bit forward, it also helps widen the stance a little bit. And you do have a little bit of ankle tilt there as well. So that can help as far as getting a nice stance. Get a nice pose. Get him to not fall over. No, he doesn't want to cooperate. Yeah, the toes, the feet are just a little weird, but you can get him to stand, as you can see. It's not impossible, it just takes some finagling. Maybe if I take the guns off the back, so he's a little bit less heavy. There he goes, those darn guns. And they're really not heavy, but apparently it's enough to make him back heavy. So we'll take a look at the head real quick. Now, apparently you can take his helmet off, although I don't really know why you'd want to. he looks kind of silly with the helmet off, in my opinion. But I think they did a great job with the face sculpt. I mean, that beard made of metal looks really good. I like that a lot. And I like the eyes. The whole facial expression just looks really nice. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like he's kind of worried about something, or like, you know, he's seen war and he's kind of tired. It's just a really neat facial expression for Hound. And he's got really nice blue eyes. They're a little bit hard to see, but it's like a blue metallic paint because they're a little sunken in there. But really, really nice head sculpt. I really like that a lot. I'm going to put his helmet back on. So there you go. Head joint, or I should say head is on a ball joint. So you got side to side, you got up and down, nice movement there. Shoulder swivels plus out to the side. Then you got a bicep swivel, you got an elbow swivel. You got this weird thing of missiles on the front, which when you take them out of the box, they're rotated to the front, but you want to rotate them to the side so you can get the full elbow joint. Now, I've already transformed mine, and I had some trouble, and I'll show you where when I get to it. And it's because of these stupid things. I mean, yes, they're a nice pop of color. I do admit that the copper and the dark gray is a nice pop of color on an otherwise mostly olive green color scheme. But they get in the way so much in the robot mode and especially in the transformation. I kind of just wish they weren't there. It would be much easier. But I'll get to that when we get to the transformation section. The wrists kind of... Now, they can swivel. They have a joint here, you can see. And they also have a swivel under here, which is mostly for the transformation, but unfortunately, because I had such difficulty with the transformation, my joints are a little loose, but hopefully yours will not be. Waist moves a little bit from side to side, but again, that's mostly the transformation. We'll get there. Hips can go in and out. Now, you can lift this skirt up if it's in the way, but you get a little bit of out to the side and then a little bit of front to back. Do I have this all the way in? I think so. And then you can put this back down. So, unfortunately, his waist articulation is kind of hindered, but I feel like Prowl's not really the kind of Autobot that does like splits and high kicks, so I don't think you're really going to need to worry about it. And then you have pretty much 90 degree in the knee, and that's just kind of hindered by this car kibble here on the back of the leg. And then, as I already showed you with the ankle, you have some side-to-side movement, you have some tilt, which is possible. So a lot of nice range of movement there. So like I said, this is a big bulky bot. I feel like you don't really need him to do all kinds of crazy articulation. He's really more of a hold his ground with a giant gun and fire kind of bot. So I feel like it works. I really love the head sculpt. I think the articulation is perfectly good. The accessories are nice. You get a lot of guns, which you can make all kinds of combinations. I kind of just like the simple, just giant, one big giant gun, or two big giant guns. But I'll just leave the one for now. So yeah, I really like the look of the guy. I think the color scheme works. It's mostly green, but you have some nice gunmetal gray, light gray, and then that pop of copper on the side. So overall, pretty nice robot mode. But I think for me, the highlight is definitely the head sculpt. I really love that. They did a fantastic job there. And I kind of like these panels on the back. I just think that looks cool. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into the transformation. Alright, so we're going to start off with this little panel back here behind his head. Just kind of push that forward. Now you have to... The directions are kind of weird because they kind of show like a downward movement. I kind of just tend to pull these back so you can move these out of the way. You kind of have to pull these panels just back a smidge just so that these can clear when you want to pull these down. And then this whole section here is going to stretch straight out. So you just... And I don't know what actually catches it or keeps it in place. There we go. So you just pull it up. You can see how it's kind of on an angle. And it just slides along that panel there. So once you have this all the way up, you can push the head into the chest. And then push this panel over top of it. And you can see that's pretty much covered up now. Next, you're going to come down to the legs. You're going to fold these inside like that. And I should note that when you first, when this guy comes out of the box, this is how his feet are. So you have to pull that out. He is mistransformed in the packaging. But you're going to rotate those both in so now you can see the wheels. You're going to come to the legs and you're going to this little panel here on the side, you can see there's a hinge right here. This is going to fold up, and just make sure that this kibble's out of the way, and straighten the leg out. You don't want it to be bent at the knee when you do this, so make sure that's not bent. And then you're going to just rotate this piece, and it's going to pop right in there. You're going to rotate this piece up and rotate the wheel to the side, and then that's just going to sit in there in the wheel well. So rotate that up, rotate the wheel to the side, and there you go. At that point, you can bring this gray, dark gray piece down, because that's going to be kind of the grate or cow catcher type of item on the front of this car. Bring this down, and then this will rotate back and snap into place. And then you can peg the two sides of the truck front together. And there you go. You pretty much have the whole front section of the truck. So now you're going to come to this top section. And this is kind of where I ran into that problem that I was telling you about. Well, I guess I should say, before you do that, you want to rotate the arms straight up when these are still kind of up here like this. And then you want to rotate these down. And then when you come around to the side, you're going to expand this part out. The forearm kind of opens up a little bit. And as you do that, you can rotate the fist down. So this goes in and the fist rotates in. Like that. So rotate this up, rotate this out, and rotate the fist in like this. Now, so you're going to rotate this up at the elbows. And this is going to rotate in here and kind of form the back of the bed and the other part of the cab. But you have to rotate this thing down now. Oops, not like that. So you want to keep this still and then rotate this piece down because it has to be on the underside. And I don't know why, but when I first got mine out of the packaging, I had a really hard time rotating this around. I don't know if it was catching on something or what. But now that you have it down and it has to be on the bottom, you can rotate this in, and then everything just kind of has to clear. And then this will, again, click to the top of the cab, and then you just kind of shore this all up and straighten everything out. And you can see that's going to kind of form the whole back section of the truck. So come back to this section, rotate this down again, and then rotate this in. And once you have everything lined up, it's a lot easier than the first time when I was trying to do this. Oh, I don't have the arms. There we go. I'll zoom out just a bit. So then you have to get this in here, and then the two pieces have to clip together. Okay, so then you go. Shore that all up. And you can see you have pretty much the whole truck at this point. Now you just have these two flaps that you're going to kind of bring these down and rotate these as you do. Now there's a little tab here. You have to make sure that the wheel clears that tab. And as you do that, you can rotate this up, and then this will peg into that said tab. So make sure the wheel clears that tab, rotate this up, and peg into the tab. And there you go. You pretty much have the truck mode. Now it's not exactly a flatbed truck, but it's kind of funny because the Age of Extinction mold was a full-on armored truck with a whole bunch of guns that you kind of put on the side. And this is more of like a missile truck, because what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece and put this all back together, which I will do very quickly. And so you're going to take this and plug it into the main one right here. And then it's kind of like a bed missile truck. And then this can rotate up, move all the way around, shoot down aircraft, things like that. So that's he's a little bit different truck this time around. But I kind of like it. I like the flatbed, aspect to it, which I think is neat. I like on the side here, he's got kind of a kill count for Decepticons that he's scratched off. You can see there, it's kind of neat. I like the blue for the windows. I think that's a really nice solid blue color. I like the front here. You have the Mercedes symbol again. You have these headlights, which look good. You have this grate in the front. Overall, I like the design of the truck mode a lot. And I really think that dark blue is a nice contrast to the light green. I think it really makes a pop. And I'm glad they chose that. Underneath, it's really not a lot of robot kibble. I have to say they did a great job. You can kind of see the top of the helmet and you can see the chest. But otherwise, it's not like you see feet or arms just tucked underneath here. So really nice job. I think the transformation's pretty solid. Like I said, the first time it's a little bit difficult figuring out how to rotate those copper bits. But once you get it down, it gets easier and easier every time you do it. So it's really nice. Rolls very well. Overall, I think it's a really excellent looking truck mode. So I actually really like this Hound mold a lot more than I thought I was going to. I really enjoyed the figure from Age of Extinction, so I kind of thought because I had that one I wasn't going to bother picking this one up. But they're radically different, and I definitely think it's worth having both in your collection. I have to say, I think this lighter green color works a little bit better for Hound. The really dark green from the previous version of him from the last movie, you know, now that I think about both colors together, I definitely think this color works a little bit better. You know, both truck modes I think are cool, but I think this one might have the edge for me. I just kind of like the flatbed with the missile platform on the back a little bit better than the just kind of solid giant truck with all the all the guns kind of pushed against the side. I will say that last figure definitely had the edge as far as firepower goes, because that guy was armed to the teeth. He had like a giant knife. He had multiple guns, and I did think it was cool how you could peg those guns kind of all over his chest and side of his legs and everything. And this guy doesn't really have that, but I do like the way you can put them all together and they kind of fit snugly on the back, almost to look like a backpack. Like if you wanted to pretend this was like jetpack functionality, something like that, you could. So yeah, like I said, I definitely think this guy's worth picking up even if you have the one from the last movie, because they're really different. And I absolutely love the head sculpt for Hound on this one. I think the head sculpt on this one is better than the last one, and I think the color scheme is a little better on this one. So both figures bring something different to the table, so I definitely think it's worth picking up both. So let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you in the comments below. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at Voyager class Autobot Hound from Transformers: The Last Knight. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.